The Galactic Union was built on order, rules, and balance. For centuries, wars were small and controlled. Most species followed the codes. But there was one planet everyone whispered about Earth. Humans didn't join the Union. They watched. From a distance, silent. Many called them strange. Some called them dangerous. No one had seen Earth's fleet in motion for almost 200 years. The last time humans fought, it had ended with entire moons cracked open and starships turned to ash. After that, Earth vanished from the stage. No one heard much after that. They stayed quiet, alone, behind thick defenses and dark zones. Now it began on the edge of Union space. A mining colony belonging to the peaceful Yarick species was attacked. The attackers weren't pirates or rebels. They were the Koru Dominion, a proud warrior race known for cruelty. The Union was slow to respond. They sent messages, warnings, and soft patrols. But the Koru laughed and kept pushing forward, taking systems one by one. The Yarick screamed for help. So did the Selen, the Pertu, and even the trade-loving Varn. But the Union Council argued. Some members said the Koru should be punished. Others said to wait. Earth said nothing. Then one day, something changed. A Yarick transmission reached Earth. No one knew what it said, but the next day, every human ambassador vanished from Union stations. Human ships stopped responding. Their space turned dark again. That silence was louder than any explosion. The Union Council gathered for an emergency session. Captain Rion of the Selen Navy stood up and asked, "Where is Earth going?" No one answered. Hours later, the first sign came. At the edge of Koru space. A single human scout ship appeared. Small, unarmed. It sent a message in plain Union code. You have taken enough. Return what is not yours, or face the consequences. They, Koru, laughed. They sent 10 warships to intercept the small scout. When they arrived, only wreckage remained. Not of the scout, but of all 10 Koru ships. No weapons were fired. No explosions seen. The ships had simply fallen apart mid-flight. Systems scrambled, crews missing. The Koru High Commander declared, "War on Earth. And that was the mistake." Within 20 hours, the skies over 10 Koru worlds darkened. Human ships, black, silent, shaped like knives, appeared without warning. Some were small, others the size of cities. They made no threats, no speeches. They just moved. The Union Council watched through live feeds as one. Koru military station blinked out of existence. No fire, no sound, just gone. A Selen diplomat whispered, "The humans have gone to war." Panic spread across the galaxy. Worlds locked their borders. Traders fled the space lanes. The Koru tried to rally their forces, but human ships were already inside their home systems. From his post, Union Observer Tal stood at his screen, watching data pour in. He had studied human history. He remembered their past wars, how short they were, how final. But even he was not ready for what came next. A single message echoed across every frequency. It came from Earth's Central Command. A woman's voice. Calm, cold. You were warned. Now we act. Do not interfere. Tal leaned back in his seat. For the first time in his long life, he felt a true fear. And across the stars, the galaxy held its breath. The silence before the fire of the Koru homeworld, Draxon, was a fortress. Its skies swarmed with defense drones. Energy shields blanketed the atmosphere, and massive battle stations hovered like steel moons. For centuries, no enemy had even dared approach. But the humans did not care for old legends or proud banners. Came anyway. The first human fleet didn't fire a single shot. Instead, they circled Draxon slowly, just out of reach, silent, watching, measuring. Koru commanders barked orders. Fighters scrambled. Anti-orbital weapons charged. Still, the human ships waited. No sound, no lights. Just the cold presence of war machines, built by a species born from Deathworld's dot in the Union chamber. Leaders watched the feeds in horror. What are they doing? Someone asked. No one knew. A Pertu general said, "They're calculating." Then, without warning, Earth's ships vanished. 1 second they were there, next second, gone. Draxon's skies lit up a heartbeat later, not from battle, but from failure. One by one, the Koru defense grids collapsed. Power plants shorted. Shields fell. Their communications went dark. Someone had shut off their entire war system in a blink. A Koru admiral screamed into an old channel, "Cowards, show yourselves." The answer came instantly. A single black ship descended into the upper skies of Draxon. Its hull bore no markings. It made no noise. But behind it followed dozens more, each different in shape and size, each designed for one purpose: to end the war quickly. Earth's message returned, this time clearer. Return the worlds you took, apologize, or be erased. The Koru did neither. They launched missiles. They sent out fleets, but their missiles exploded mid-air. Their fleets never got close. Something unseen blocked every attack. Something only Earth understood. And when the first human ship opened fire, the Koru finally understood their mistake. It was not a laser or missile. It was a beam of light that sliced through space itself. It cut one of their moons clean in half. There was no warning, no sound, just light and silence. Back in Union space, leaders sat frozen. "Is this vengeance?" asked one. "No," replied Tal, the Union observer. "This is precision." One of the smaller Koru colonies sent a signal of surrender. They offered peace. They begged for mercy. The human fleet responded. It didn't attack. It didn't land. It just left. But the message was clear. If you surrender, you live. If you resist, you disappear. Other species watched closely. Whispers spread across planets. What else could humans do? How much did they hold back? On the trade world of Villion, a group of smugglers discussed Earth's war over drinks. One of them said, "I used to think humans were just another race. Now I wonder, are they still just people?" Another replied, "No, they're reminders." The bartender leaned over and said, "Reminders of what?" The man drained his glass. "That death still listens, and it speaks with a human voice." Meanwhile, in the Koru council chambers, the High Commander slammed his fists into the table. Where did they get this power? He shouted. How do they vanish from sensors? How do they shut down our systems without touching them? No one answered, because the truth was worse than any weapon. The humans had prepared. They had been silent, not because they were weak, but because they were waiting. The galaxy had grown comfortable, soft, polite, but Earth had not died, and now that old silence was turning into thunder, and thunder was coming. Asterisk. Echoes of Earth's wrath. The Koru Empire had once been proud. Brutal, yes, but proud. Their warriors trained from childhood. Their fleets stretched across half the sector. But now they were shrinking, not in size but in spirit. On Draxon, fear crept into every command post-op report in. Battles. Lost. Entire fleets gone without resistance. Colonies falling silent. Ships surrendering before even seeing an enemy. The High Commander refused to believe it. They can't be everywhere. But they were. Humanity didn't just come with ships and guns. They came with precision strikes, with weapons that left no debris. They targeted leaders, power systems, war factories, always just enough. Never more than needed. Every move was cold, strategic, clean. It wasn't just war. It was judgment. Meanwhile, across Union space, Debate turned into panic. On the peaceful world of Neller, the council gathered again. Some species wanted to send aid to the Koru. Others screamed for sanctions against Earth. But most just watched. Watched the stars. Watched the reports. Watched Earth reshape the map. They're not conquering, one Varn merchant said, staring at a star chart. They're correcting. Another whispered. Union observer Tal had seen enough. He requested access to old Earth records. Files from centuries ago, during the last human war. The files were dusty, forgotten. But they told the same story. Humans didn't fight for land. They fought for messages. And their message was always clear: do not provoke Earth. In a hidden bunker beneath Draxon's core, Koru scientists worked day and night. They searched for a weakness, a virus, a signal, anything that could slow the human advance. Then one engineer found something. It wasn't a weakness. It was worse. The humans hadn't just attacked. They had studied Koru systems years ago. Quietly. Patiently. They had hidden back doors, back when trade deals first began. Now they were using them, shutting down ships, weapons, factories before the war even started. The war had been decided long ago. The fighting was just proof. Side of the Koru border, a small world named Talrix sent out a distress call. Not to the Koru, not to the Union. To Earth. They begged for protection, promised peace. They had never wanted the war. 3 hours later, a single Terran ship arrived. It hovered over the sky, silent, its shadow covering their capital city. Then, it dropped food crates. Medicine. Water. A message followed. You are not our enemy. Talrix rejoiced. The galaxy trembled. Humanity was not just striking back. They were choosing who lived. Aboard one of Earth's warships, Commander Laren looked out at the stars. He wasn't smiling. His eyes were tired. His second officer said. Another surrender request. The planet Sorn. Laren nodded. Accept it. Offer aid. The officer paused. Sir? Why not destroy them? That's what they expect. Laren turned to him, voice quiet. Because we're not monsters. But they've forgotten what we are. The officer said nothing more. Back on Neller. The Union Council went quiet. No more debates. No more votes. Everyone understood. This was not Earth declaring war. This was Earth reminding the galaxy why they had been silent for so long. And now, every world wondered the same thing. Asterisk those who remembered. While most species cowered or debated, a few remembered. Not from books or history records, but from stories told in whispers, passed down from older generations who had once stood beside or against Earth in forgotten wars. On the jungle-covered world of Ilker, the Elder Council of the Tar people gathered. Their High Elder Mayan leaned on his carved staff as he looked toward the sky. It has begun again, he said softly. A younger warrior, Taro, asked, What has, Elder? Mayan turned to him, eyes sharp despite his age. The silence between. Stars has been broken. Earth moves once more. Taro frowned. Should we be afraid? Mayan did not answer right away. Instead, he walked to an old stone tablet carved with marks and symbols. These were the days of fire. He whispered, tracing a line with his fingers. When Earth burned through fleets, not to conquer, but to stop chaos. He turned back. No. Young one, we should not fear. We should remember. And we should choose wisely what we do next. Across the stars, the Koru Empire was dying not from fire, but from fear. Their outer colonies were already lost. Their mid-systems surrendered one by one. And still, the humans said nothing more. They just acted. But not all humans were at war. On Earth itself, people watched the news unfold from afar. Most were calm, some were sad, others angry. But none were surprised. A teacher stood in front of her students, all of them young and quiet. This is not the first time humanity has been pushed, she explained. But why do they fear us so much? One child asked. The teacher paused and said, because we survive what others can't. We adapt. We prepare. And when we're forced to act, we don't stop halfway. In the outer Koru system of Velnax, a surprise occurred. Instead of a battle, instead of terror, Earth's fleet arrived and did nothing. They hovered in orbit, released drones filled with medical supplies, food, even water. And came a message. If your leaders brought you into this, you don't have to die for their mistakes. For the first time, Koru soldiers dropped their weapons before a fight began. This stunned the Union. Observer Ta watched the footage with disbelief. They're not just winning, they're reshaping the idea of war. Earth's war wasn't chaos, it was surgical. And even more terrifying, it was controlled. No planets were glassed. No cities burned unless they resisted violently. Every target was chosen, every strike precise. Earth's power wasn't just in strength, it was in choice. They chose when to speak, they chose when to strike, and they chose when to forgive. Back at the Union Council, desperation grew. Species begged for a solution. Some feared Earth would turn against the Union next, but the truth was clear. Earth wasn't coming for the Union. Earth had only one goal: end the war they didn't start. Koru's last major fleet regrouped near a gas giant called Luma Prime. Their admiral, a Wren, prepared a trap, a hidden minefield. Dozens of stealth ships. A surprise strike designed to crush the human vanguard. When the Terran fleet entered the system, the Koru launched their ambush. Nothing happened. The mines didn't go off. Their stealth ships didn't respond. Then came the cold voice across all Koru channels. We found your trap 6 weeks ago. We let you build it to see if you'd change. Silence. Then came the final words. You didn't. A moment later, every mine detonated by remote. Not near the Terran ships. But inside the Koru fleet. Not one Koru ship escaped. The message was clear again. Earth didn't just outfight. They outthought. They outplanned. And most terrifying of all, they waited for the right moment. Asterisk. The breaking point. The Koru Empire had no more backup plans. Their last fleet was gone. Their central communication relay had gone dark, and their homeworld was surrounded. What once was an empire of fear was now a crumbling echo. Inside the Koru capital tower, the High Commander stood alone, staring at the hollow sky. He had led armies across stars. He had broken rebellions and crushed resistance. But now, not even his elite guard remained. They had deserted 2 days ago, fleeing before the Terran blockade fully closed. And still, the humans had not struck the final blow. Instead, they waited, just outside the reach of the planet's weapons. Watching, always watching. From orbit, Earth's ships observed every energy reading, every signal, every launch pad. And then something unexpected happened. A small Koru civilian ship broke through the cloud barrier. It rose slowly, unarmed, broadcasting one signal: we surrender. Instead of destroying it, Earth's nearest cruiser moved aside and allowed it to pass. That one act changed everything. Dozens of ships followed. Not military, not government, families, workers, miners, teachers, all waving white light signals of surrender, and not one was harmed. Earth had made their message clear again. They were not here for the innocent. Word of this spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On the Union world of Telvin, children gathered around a holodisplay of the moment. The first Koru ship was spared. Why didn't they destroy them? One asked. His father, once a soldier during the border conflicts, said quietly, because Earth isn't here to destroy people, just to end the lies. Meanwhile, Observer Tal finally received a direct message from Earth's High Command. It was brief, no titles, no threats. Just 4 lines. We are done watching. We warned them. We did not start this. But we will end it. And they were ending it system by system. But not with endless fire. Not with pointless death. Earth used technology. The rest of the galaxy had only guessed at. AI-guided EMP clouds. Gravity pulse nets. Cloaked drones that could disable power. Without damage. And human operatives that had been living among the Koru for years. Now revealing hidden intel. In the capital of the Koru, confusion turned to fear. Fear into silence. And silence into desperation. The High Commander tried. One last thing. He sent a personal message. Not to the Union, not to the galaxy, but directly to Earth. What do you want from us? Earth's reply came from a simple human face, an older man, with gray eyes and a calm voice. His message was short, to be left alone. But you crossed the line. You hurt too many. Now we clean up your mess. And that was it? No threats. No more talking. Only movement. Terran boots touched Koru soil for the first time in 2 centuries. Not in waves, but in squads. Quiet, coordinated, unstoppable. They didn't burn buildings. They walked into command centers and turned off systems. They didn't torture. They released prisoners, brought food, and helped clean the streets the Koru government had abandoned. And in doing so, they broke the Koru spirit. Across the Empire, resistance melted, and those still watching from afar? They didn't see a human. Invasion. They saw a reckoning. One that could have been avoided. Asterisk. The reckoning. The Terran boots that landed on Koru worlds were not marching in rage. They moved with purpose, control, and a kind of cold finality. They didn't scream, didn't gloat. The soldiers wore black armor with no flags. Only a single symbol over their hearts. A silent Earth rising behind a cracked star to the galaxy. This symbol became a warning. On the streets of Draxon, Koru, citizens looked out from shattered buildings as humans passed in columns. But there was no fire, no executions. The humans gave out supplies, directed traffic, and set up emergency medbays. They even protected a Koru family from a gang of looters, stunning the thieves, and then handing them over to local civilians. Not Earth Command. Even the children of Draxon didn't run anymore. They stared. They whispered. They watched the soldiers, who had come from the world everyone feared yet, who moved like protectors instead of monsters. The High Commander was captured without resistance. He didn't try to fight. He didn't even speak. He only looked at the Terran unit who arrived, at his bunker, and said, "Why didn't you destroy us?" The commander of the human team answered without a pause, "Because we're not you." That moment was broadcast across the stars, and that sentence became the line that shifted everything. Back in Union space, planets that had once been afraid of Earth began to reconsider. News spread that Earth had taken down an empire in weeks, with minimum blood, and now they were leaving. Yes, leaving. Earth, single quotes, S Command issued a new directive. No occupation, no resource stealing, no territory claims. The moment the world stabilized, Earth would withdraw. Observer Tau watched in awe. There, not conquerors, he said aloud to the Union Assembly. They're a warning system with guns. In private chambers, the Union leaders panicked for a different reason. They realized what humanity had just done wasn't only military. It was political. Earth had made their point. They could end empires and choose not to replace them. This made them more powerful than any ruler. Back on Earth, Commander Laren stood aboard the Terran flagship orbiting Koru's capital. He looked at a screen showing multiple systems. All stable, no uprisings. No more Koru resistance. A young comms officer turned to him. "Sir, the galaxy's watching." Every species, every government. They're asking, what will we do next? Laren stared at the stars in silence. Then he gave the order. We go home. The room went quiet. No speeches. No celebration. Just calm nods. The humans had come, ended a war. And now, they would vanish into the dark once more. The comms officer smiled. They won't forget this, sir. Laren replied softly, they're not supposed to. The stars remember the Koru Empire was gone. No explosions marked its fall. No statues torn down. Just silence, a silence that said it was over. And Earth, as promised, did not stay. Terran ships departed one by one. No banners waved. No demands were made. Just brief messages to the people of the freed worlds. It's yours now. Don't let it fall again. Across Koru space, life began again. Food lines replaced battalions. Drones repaired what bombs hadn't touched. Human medics left behind blue crates full of tools, medicine, and manuals, each one marked with a symbol. A human hand reaching upward, not downward. Some worlds burned their Koru flags. Others planted gardens where military towers once stood. All of them whispered the same thing. Earth came. Earth saw. And Earth walked away. In Union space, the tone had shifted. Earth was no longer the unknown mystery. Now it was the silent guardian everyone feared to provoke. Union observer Tal was asked to speak before the Galactic Assembly. He was old, but his voice was steady. He spoke slowly. Earth was quiet for 200 years. We thought it meant they were weak. We now know they were patient. They saw the galaxy turn corrupt and cruel. And when one empire went too far, Earth reminded us all. He paused, then added, they are not here to rule, but if needed, they will rise. And they will not be stopped. That speech was played. In every major system for weeks, songs were written. Statues were carved. Children pretended to be Terran soldiers, defending the helpless with wooden sticks and metal pots. Back on Earth, life returned to normal. Farms grew. Cities buzzed. There were no victory parades. No trophies, because Earth didn't want them. Commander Laren retired quietly. He went to live on a small mountain colony where no one asked for war stories. He never gave any. The last message Earth sent to the galaxy was short, displayed on every open broadcast line. We watched. You made your choices. We responded. Let this be the last time. And then, the signal ended. Ships stopped moving. Orders went quiet. And the galaxy, once wild and proud, began to watch itself afraid, not of what Earth might do again, but of becoming the next reason Earth might have to, because the galaxy never forgot. The war. Not because of how it began, but because of how quickly Earth ended it.